right, welcome again, Just Wins followers, to the third week of the podcast. Welcome, boys. How did we go last week?
No good for me, mate. It was a disaster weekend.
Lee, how'd you go, mate?
Got out in Perth, which is quite common, mate. So end up a little bit down, but still good winner in the end, Resort Man. So happy with how the day turned out in the end.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough day at Caulfield, and a few of us, we were around the mark with fourths at value odds and seconds for our winners, and if a couple of them combined, we'd be well up, but that's the punt. And
not wrong, mate.
Yeah, there's a lot of other tippers out there didn't do well at all, but that's not the point. The point is we've got to try and lift our game this week and get amongst it again for the followers, because they've had a shocker so far, and they want a winner. And did we see anything last week that we should be following? I guess Russian Camelot's probably the only one.
Oh, Masked Crusader as well, mate. I thought that was extremely impressive. Two very impressive horses I think we saw last weekend in those two. So obviously we've got high hopes for them, potential Group horses. So obviously Russian Camelot just won a Group 1, but expect him to step up as an open age horse, potentially in the Melbourne and Caulfield Cups.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think the media and the bookies have got a bit overexcited as usual and started to proclaim them as Melbourne Cup winners and now Everest winners. And I think we just got to wait a bit, give them a bit of time and not just go off the handle too early.
Yeah, Russian Camelot was into $11, I think I saw, for the Melbourne Cup. He's probably $11 to get to the race.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stitch up. And I think Masked Crusader was something like $16 into the Everest as well. So, and that race is usually a bit of a raffle. So, yeah, heaps to come. But what about trainers or jockeys, boys? Anyone take a fancy?
I actually had a horse that raced today, 2-year-old, that I was on. I don't know if you guys saw it, but a horse called Anders raced today at Wyong. No, it's Kiara Maher and David Eustace out of Sydney. It just killed him. Won by about 6.5, ran 103 on a soft 7, and had really good form sort of leading in. Ran second to that Peltzer, which looks handy. 6th to Wisdom of Water. 3rd to Got a Kiss. 4th to See You Soon. So, and Dame Giselle was in that as well. There was a couple of good horses. There was a couple of good runs for it before today, and it just blew them away. Sat on speed, raced at a good clip by the looks of it, and then just killed him. Never looked in doubt and won by 6.5. So I think with a bit more improvement, it could continue on an upward spiral. So it's one to watch. Anders.
Yeah, might be maturing at the right time as a 2-year-old, and do you know if he's coming anywhere? If he's coming up north or whatnot?
Well, he's in the market for the JJ Atkins, I think around $30 or $40 or something like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have a crack. But that's all I've seen so far. It's Aquis owned, so I'd say they'd have a crack at a few good races, mate.
Yeah, they'll have a crack at anything. The Aquis boys, they just bought in the Wisdom of Water, and they love a stallion. So wouldn't be surprised if it comes up here and has a crack. But I don't know. They've got to beat some good horses that are already up here, anyways. But anyways, we're off to Adam at Sydney, and Adzi, you got to pull your finger out this week, because even though last week Grey Worm would have put you into positive territory, the figures didn't look too great.
No, mate, it was as I said, it was a disaster. We were close on a few occasions there, but just no chocolates, which sometimes happens. So hopefully we can get a winner this weekend, or maybe a couple of winners would be nice. So Rose Hill this weekend, it's good for at the moment. Potentially a little bit of rain, especially on Saturday. So I'm working on. It'll probably end up in a soft 5, soft 6 at worst. Is what I did my form for. Rails out 3 meters. So as we know, at Rose Hill, you tend to want to be up near the speed. So I look for horses I was expecting to settle in the first half. So we've got 2 tips today at Rose Hill. First up, my best bet that comes up in race 7, horse 5 for 2s for John Thompson and Rachel King to ride. I was very impressed by this horse a couple of weekends ago on the Kensington track. Bolted in there, beating Le Cosmo and Witherspoon. I really liked the way it was over 1,000 meters, and I really liked the way it found the line. Really exploded away from them late. So I think this weekend, good gate, will push forward. I'm not expecting her to lead, but I believe she'll be just behind the pace, and hopefully it'll be too good for them. And they'll obviously be very hungry to pick up a bit of black type with her in this race as well, which it is at listed level.
Yeah, puts them together as well, this horse, and yeah, probably from that inside gate, probably sits a couple of pairs back on the fence, and yeah, just needs a bit of luck, but should be in the finish for sure.
Yeah, hopefully. And then on to my best value, and that's in the last race, the Hortensia Stakes. Well, I don't know if I should be betting in the Hortensia Stakes after what happened to me in Melbourne Cup Day 2009. Craig Williams, thanks for coming. But anyway, we're having a bet, and we're going to back one of the each-way price here, Handle the Truth, number 5 there for Keith Dryden and Nashra Willa. He's obviously the Kosciuszko winner, this horse. He's got a great strike rate. I watched him last start, and he just got way too far back there over the 1100 at Rose Hill. I expect this week he will settle much more forward. Most of his good form has been when he's settled in the first half dozen or so. So I'm expecting them to be much more positive on him this week. Hopefully we can get a good spot there from barrier 8 with a bit of cover, and he can really finish off this horse. He handles the soft conditions if we do get it in the soft or heavy range. So I think at $13, he's a good each-way play.
Yeah, they got Nash Willer on, so you'd expect him to push forward from barrier 8, and he's got the most prize money out of all these horses. So yeah, he's definitely in there, well up to his ear at about $13.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So fingers crossed, and yeah, we'll that'll be all at Rose Hill. I will have one more tip in Rose Hill later, but we'll talk about that one later on.
Righto, and all right, so you got race 7 Fitch US at $2.60 as the best bet, and then race 9 each way on Handle the Truth at $13 and $4 a place. Thanks, Adam. Lee, off to Melbourne. You got on the board last week, and I'm expecting big things again this week. What do you got?
All right, let's see how we go, mate. So back at Flemington, I'd say I'd probably race pretty similar to how it did a couple of weeks ago. Rails out 2 meters, that won't make much of a difference at Flemington. So I'd say you get value for all your runners from first right through to last. But I'm predicting probably horses that settle sort of midfield is probably where you want to be at. That's where I usually look at Flemington. So not generally on speed, not generally last, but sort of midfield and clear running down the straight is usually where I'm looking. So got 3 tips. I've got 1 best bet, and then I couldn't split 2 for best value, so I'm going to give them both out. But best bet first, I'm going to back up on him. I tipped him a couple of weeks ago, and that's in race 4, Duke of Plumpton. I think he finds the right sort of race again, and we're getting $5 about him. So stays at the mile, which I think is a tick. Obviously, big form line tick from last start. He was beaten by Shot of Irish, who come out again and won well, stepping out to the 1800s for the first time and killed him. I think it was one of the only leaders of the day that won last week as well. So, trumps the form line. I know he hasn't. I'm expecting probably be a good track there, good 4, as there's no real rain. It's supposed to be coming at Melbourne over the weekend. So I'm expecting a good 4. I know his form doesn't read well on a good track, but I mean, his 2 starts, he ran 4th and a 1-length 5th. So, and his 2 goes on a good track. So I'm pretty confident that he gets through all ground. Should get a good run from the draw. and yeah, we'll be out in plenty of time. And Flemington's the right track for him. I just don't think Sandown was the right sort of track that he got last time, and I think he gets a perfect big straight to be able to run him down this time.
Yeah, so
that's the best bet.
Duke of Plumpton at $5 for the best bets. He's got a knock off Sikorsky at $4.40 in Orleans Rock, and I see also Diplomatic Measures in there, Lee, at $11.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I don't think the miles are the right call for him. I think that race last week, which I'm pretty filthy, didn't get started in because I think they ended up being 4 scratchings or something like that. So he actually could have got a start, but there was 2 late scratchings in the day, so screwed me over there. But anyway,
cool.
And the horse that got it pretty much what I thought he would get a run, and Viral won. So anyway, but onto the best value. We've got 2. Race 3, I'm going to go first. Number 4, Merited. I think the dry track's the key here, and we'll get back on that. Ran 5th in pretty much a similar sort of race. Most of these horses come through the same race at Sandown a couple of weeks ago. Just didn't get through the heavy track. And yeah, just didn't look comfortable. If you go back to its previous 2 starts, beat one of the horses in Florent in its second race start. So you can tie the form in there. And then at its first start, killed him by 3.5 lengths. So if you look at 2 good track runs, very, very good. It could be pretty versatile. It led at one of its win, and then it sat back sort of midfield at its first start. So I think go either or, especially from the draw. And I'm expecting at $16. I think it's a bit overs based, and I think the price is based off of last start, where I think you can put a line through it. So I'm happy to take the $16 about it, mate.
Yeah, 16 and 440, and the previous 2 runs before the spell were spot on and got the chockies. So yeah, that's Merited. What else you got?
Yeah, and then I'm going to the Andrew Ramsden, the big race on the card. Obviously, exemption into the Melbourne Cup, which will be exciting for a fair few owners. And the horse I'm going to back is Good Idea. Got a lot of time for King of Leogrants. I think he's a pretty good type. He's obviously can easily stay the trip as he won the Adelaide Cup. But a good run out of that was Good Idea, who ran second to him. Just couldn't go with his sprint. On that occasion, though, King of Leogrants was third up and raring to go. I have no doubt he'll be ready to go in this, but they'll obviously have plenty more opportunities to get into a Melbourne Cup with him, whereas I don't think there's that many opportunities for Good Idea. Sort of moving forward, I can't see him winning sort of any of those exemption races. So I think this is the perfect race for him. And if you look at the odds, King Leogrants is $2.50 and Good Idea is $23. And you can tie in form around a lot of them through his last run behind Hackey. And then even before that, Miramar in Veloc, you can tie in a fair few of these horses as well. So I think at the price, $23, we know he's definitely going to get the trip. Should get a good run from the gate. Flemington looks the right sort of track for him. I just think he ticks a few boxes, and at the price, I'm happy to take him on.
Yeah, it looks a ripping race. King of Leogrants, as he said, and then you got Too Close to the Sun coming off that Boole win, and Suppressor, the perennial second place horse, and Oceanics, who was also very impressive last start.
And then that Dark Alley.
Dark Alley's a gun.
The type. So Paul Pritzker knows how to get up a good stayer, obviously, with minimal starts. So, but so yeah, like I said, $23.
Yeah, race 6, Good Idea at $23 and $5. Anything else, Lee?
That's it for me, mate.
That's it for Lee. All right, no worries. We'll jump into the Gold Coast meeting with the rail out 1 metre between the 1,000 and the 400, and then through the remainder. It's a good 4 at the moment, and there might be a touch of rain on Saturday, but I'd say it'll be a soft 5 at the worst. Gold Coast has been playing pretty well. Most likely it'll be tempo-related results in what looks a bit of a tricky meeting. Got 3 tips today for Saturday. And we'll start off in race 5. Thine is the Power at $5. Up in grade and class here, but couldn't have been more impressive last start for Team Edmonds. Was caught 3 wide, no cover in the second half of the field. Idled up to the lead on the turn and won softly, pulling away. They ran time that day, carrying 58 kilos. Drops 55 kilos here with the senior jockey on. Barrier 9 after scratching, should position midfield, 1 off. And yeah, you just got to watch out for him late. So that's Thine is the Power in race 5. We just have him straight out at $5. My each way is race 8, Exhilarates, at $7 and $2.60. She's a top class 3-year-old filly, this, resuming off a couple of handy trials. She was well held in the latest with plenty to give under a real good stranglehold. Blinkers on, winkers off, so, Godolphin aren't mucking around this time. She's drawn a touch wide, but with the fast tempo in front, her usual get-back tactics will work. She'll settle back in the pack, probably 1 off the fence and swoop late. Her track stats are excellent, never missed a place, and another senior Brisbane jockey on. She'll be up to it on her ear. So that's Exhilarates at $7 and $2.60. And then the last bet we've got at race 9, Nidor, $4. It's a 3-year-old up against the older mares, but I think she's up to it. She's pretty classy, this filly. She'll come into barrier 12 after scratchings and should find the lead relatively well. There doesn't look a ton of speed inside her, possibly just TARDIS that might get her on the rail. The quality mares in this race are all get-back runners, so I'm hoping Nothdorf or whatever you say, can sort of roll to the lead, 1 off, and can pinch a few slow sectionals out in front and get away from it at the top of the straight. Last start, it was over 1,110 metres, and it was in easy grade, but she was pulling away from it at the end. So I don't think 1,200 should be a problem. And yeah, just carries 54 kilos, and yeah, Bailey will be looking for some pocket money. So that's my 3 at the Gold Coast. Race 5, Thine is the Power at $5. Race 8, Exhilarates each way at $7 and $2.60. And race 9, Nidor, $4 straight out. All right, boys, we are going around the grounds this Saturday, and I'll start with you, Adzi, if you've got anything around the grounds.
Yeah, mate, just over at Morphettville, I am keen to have a bet on 1 to win. Race 6, number 2, Girl Tuesday. Chris Waller's taken her over. Believe it or not, this mare has never won a stakes race, so they're chasing that stakes, that black type beside her name. Her form doesn't read well. Her first 2 starts, they don't look too good on paper. She ran 10th of 14th first up, and then 8th of 14 second up, both at Rose Hill. But I feel the first up run can be forgiven because firstly, it was a wet track. Secondly, she pulled up with blood in one of her nostrils, had to trial as a result. And then second up, she had absolutely no luck at all. Poor old Nashra Willard, never saw daylight on her. She looked to have plenty to offer to me. So I feel third up, bidder up to 2,000. We know she runs that kind of trip out. And I feel this is a really, really quite an easy race for her, in my opinion. And she gets in quite well with 55.5 kilos. So I'm keen to back Girl Tuesday to win in race 6 at Morphettville.
Yep, it's Girl Tuesday at about $3.20 with Bar and Worcester on for the great man Chris Waller. Anything else, Adzi?
No, that's all for me tomorrow. Whenever we're going to air on Saturday.
Going to air on Saturday. It's all happening. Lee, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have a crack in Perth and all up, mate.
Yeah, all up.
2 horses. So first one is in race 4. I'm going to have another go at Miss Frost again.
Again?
Yeah, mate. She, like I said, I don't think I need to keep talking about her, but I think she's got plenty of ability. There looks a heap of pace on in this race. Pikey on board should go back from that draw and finish off over the top.
Yep.
And then in race 6, Condor Heroes, absolutely flying since he's gone to WA. 1-2 from 2. Won the trial as well leading up to that by 6 lengths. And there was 5 lengths back to third. So I don't know what he's done again, Jemmy, but he's got it in peak form. Just killed him last start, 1 by 4, ran 57.3 over 1,000. Only goes up half a kilo on this, drawn inside, and not a deep sort of race. River Bow's probably the only danger, but I just don't think it's as fast. I don't think it's as good. So, it's been running sort of 58s, 59s. So if you can produce anywhere near what it did a couple of weeks ago, Condor Heroes, it will be winning. So that's the two, both at $2.30. So
yeah, we got race 4, Miss Frost into Condor Heroes, who's flying at the moment, just hurdles along at 2.30, and that'll be $5.30 for the multi. Anything else, mate?
No, that's it for me.
Righto, that's Adam and Lee out the way. I've just got the one at Morphettville, race 9. Street Icon, $7.50 and $3 each way. He was massive odds last start in the Goodwood, and I was more than happy with the run. She got back way too far. Found trouble numerous times in the straight, but only ran 3.9 lengths behind Bella Bella. That was a soft 7, and she gets on her preferred good surface on Saturday. Hurdle jumps off, Thornton goes on. Thornton, who's the Group 1 winning jock now. They'll settle a touch closer at this time, midfield on an average tempo, and hopefully get the runs late and get over the top of them. So that's Morphettville race 9, Street Icon at $7.50 and $3. And I guess while we're at Morphettville in race 8, we've got the Group 1 Goodwood. What are we thinking, boys?
For me, mate, I'm inclined to tip G-Tra, but I'm going to go away from him and try and look for some value. Being Adelaide, and value often gets up there. So I've gone with, for my my banter tip, number 9, Behemoth, David Jolly, Todd Panel to ride. I feel second up there. He ran quite well behind Jungle Edge on a wet track first up. Much prefers the good surface. So I think at $14, he's a good value and should give a good sight in that.
Yeah, and are you willing to have a bet this week?
This one's just a banter, mate.
Just a banter, mate. Are you gonna pull your finger out and actually have a bet, or eventually?
Eventually, when I find one that'll win.
Yeah. Not Liar.
Liar didn't win, mate. So
Yeah, it came from well back.
No,
Anyways, Lee, what are you thinking?
I can't decide between the top 2. I won't have a bet, but Santa Ana Lane or Trekking for me. I think just the class in the race. Obviously, Trekking was very good last time. Back to a dry track. Was wide, ran on well, and on pace. Grey Worm, I think, led that and won. As you'll definitely know what happened with Grey Worm there. And then Santa Ana Lane's obviously the class runner in the field. Probably hasn't been at his peak, but probably has had a couple of little excuses. Just got a bit too far back. There's plenty of speed on in this, so hopefully they can swoop. So they're my 2, mate, but no bet.
Fair enough. Well, as I do, I look over what happened the last few in history at the Goodwood. Last time a winner carried less than 56 kilos was Lone Rock in 2011. So Behemoth's got to do something for the second time this decade, or in a decade. And they've got to be running low 109 times, I feel. Last year, Dispatch led them up and was third up after winning the Mackay Group 3 last run. And then in 2018, Santa Ana Lane swooped from last after zooming home in the Mackay Stakes again. And then 2017, Vegan Magic, that was some win, won first up, sitting handy to the speed after an unsuccessful Winterbottom. This year's Mackay Stakes or Mackay Stakes was on a soft 7 where Jungle Edge led and won well. It's a bit of a sit and sprint, and I'm not too sure about the quality. For me, I'm leaning with Trekking as well. Ticks a few boxes. Third up into this, unsuccessful but far from disgrace. Winterbottom run last campaign. Copped a heavy track on resumption, then caught 3 wide no cover with 60 kilos to slide forward in Sydney and be very brave behind Grey Worm, who picked them up. I think it's $7.50 or $8 each way on a good track. I'm all over it. I think it'll be right up to its ears. And I'm having a bet, boys.
All right.
I'm actually pulling the finger out. All right, boys. Anything else you want to talk about before we go? Any shout-outs?
All good for me. Thanks, mate.
Lee?
Yeah, all good for me, mate. All good.
All right,
Let's get some
boys.
winners.
You'll be sweating bullets on the weekends, hoping you get a few winners and can get that tally going, eh?
Fingers crossed. We're well and truly due.
All right, lads. Thanks very much and good luck.
Thanks,
Thanks,
mate.
mate.
Over and out, followers.